China exposed Vince McMahon long before his WWE firing, and even Triple H wasn't spared. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got some truly surprising and heartwarming news from the WWE Universe. Before lawsuits, before resignations, and before the scandal that rocked WWE to its core, there was one voice that dared to speak the truth. Her name was Chyna, the ninth wonder of the world. And long before Vince McMahon's empire began to crumble, she saw it all. She lived it. She warned us. This is the untold story of how Chyna exposed Vince McMahon, and why even Triple H couldn't escape the fallout. Chyna's rise to power. The year was 1997. WWE was deep into its Attitude Era, edgy, violent, and unapologetic. And in the middle of it all was Chyna. She didn't fit the mold. She shattered it. Standing 5 feet 10 inches, ripped with unmatched strength and presence, Chyna wasn't just a sidekick to D-Generation X. She was the enforcer, the bodyguard, the phenomenon. Fans were in awe. Men feared her. Women admired her. Vince McMahon knew he had lightning in a bottle. But behind the scenes, things were far from perfect. Chyna, real name Joanie Laurer, was starting to see the darker side of WWE. The manipulation, the ego, the games. And those games were led by Vince McMahon. Control behind the curtain. At first, Vince treated Chyna like a star. She was booked in historic matches, winning the Intercontinental Championship, entering the Royal Rumble, and breaking barriers left and right. But it came with a price. Behind closed doors, Chyna was subjected to criticism about her body, her voice, even her femininity. Vince reportedly pushed her to undergo surgery, change her look, and market herself better. She complied, reluctantly. She wanted success. But what she didn't know was that her very presence threatened Vince's control. She wasn't his creation. She was her own force. And Vince didn't like that. What made it worse? She was dating Triple H. And that relationship would soon ignite a storm of betrayal. The Triple H factor. Chyna and Triple H were a real-life couple. They were partners both on-screen and off. But somewhere along the way, things changed. Rumors began to swirl about Stephanie McMahon, about late-night meetings, about favoritism. Chyna confronted Triple H. She asked about Stephanie. He denied everything. But the distance grew. The tension was obvious. Then, one day, he was gone. No call. No goodbye. Just over. Triple H had moved on to Stephanie McMahon. And when Chyna went to Vince to confront him about it, he didn't offer comfort. He offered silence. She wasn't family. Stephanie was. And in Vince's world, family always came first. The shameful exit. Chyna's WWE contract expired in 2001. She was never re-signed. No farewell. No send-off. No recognition for changing the industry. She vanished from WWE programming. Erased. Vince had made his choice. Triple H was his heir. Stephanie was his daughter. Chyna was now an outsider. But Chyna didn't stay silent. In interviews, she began to speak out about how she was discarded, how Vince looked the other way, how Triple H manipulated her and rose through the ranks by proximity to power. She didn't just accuse Vince of betrayal. She accused him of enabling abuse. And she had receipts. The tell-all interviews. Between 2002 and 2015, Chyna gave numerous interviews that painted a chilling picture of WWE's inner circle. She spoke about being gaslit by both Vince and Hunter. She said that her departure wasn't mutual, that she was forced out to protect the McMahon family image. She detailed how her emails were ignored, how her calls went unanswered, and how her contributions were rewritten to favor others. In one emotional sit-down, she said, "They used me. They got what they wanted, and then I was a threat to their little fairy tale. So they erased me." These interviews were dismissed at the time, brushed off as bitterness. But now, they sound like prophecy. The downward spiral. After leaving WWE, Chyna's life took a dark turn. She entered the world of reality TV and adult films, not by passion, but by necessity. She was broke, hurt, discarded. She begged for closure. She emailed WWE executives, asking for a Hall of Fame induction, a second chance, even a conversation. No one replied. She called out Vince by name, calling him a manipulator, a user, a man who built an empire by crushing souls. She called out Triple H, accusing him of gaslighting, lying, and helping erase her from history. Still silence. She was drowning, and WWE watched from the shore. The death that shook the industry. April 20th, 2016. Chyna was found dead in her California apartment. She was 46. Prescription drugs, alcohol, loneliness. WWE posted a short statement. Triple H tweeted a condolence. But there was no tribute, no montage, no ceremony. Fans were outraged. How could they honor others and not her? In death, Chyna became a martyr. Her fans demanded justice. Her interviews resurfaced. Her truth echoed louder. And finally, WWE responded. In 2019, Chyna was posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as a part of DX. Not individually, not as the trailblazer she was. Even in death, they kept her in the shadows. The reckoning. Fast forward to 2023 and 2024. Vince McMahon is now gone from WWE amid lawsuits, sexual assault allegations, and federal investigations. The empire is shaking. The silence is breaking. And now, people are listening to Chyna's words again. Suddenly, her claims don't sound like bitterness. They sound like warnings. She spoke about the toxic culture, the cover-ups, the favoritism, the corruption, and it all came true. Even Triple H, now in power, is being re-examined. How much did he know? How much did he enable? Wrestlers are speaking out. Whistleblowers are stepping up. And Chyna, she's becoming the voice of truth. Chyna's legacy rewritten. Today, fans remember Chyna differently. Not just as the ninth wonder of the world, but as the woman who tried to warn us. She broke barriers before anyone else. She stood up to Vince before it was popular. She called out Triple H before anyone else dared to. And for that, she was buried, silenced, forgotten, but no longer. Social media now floods with clips of her interviews. Fans demand her solo Hall of Fame induction. Documentaries are being made. She didn't just expose Vince McMahon. She exposed the system. Chyna once said, "I was the first, and I was the last of my kind. They didn't know what to do with me, so they erased me." But history has a funny way of correcting itself. Vince McMahon's kingdom has fallen. Triple H's legacy is under the microscope. And Chyna? She's finally being seen for who she truly was, a warrior, a pioneer, a truth-teller. She exposed the rot in WWE long before anyone listened. And now that we finally hear her voice, we can't unhear it. Chyna exposed Vince McMahon long before his WWE firing, and even Triple H wasn't spared. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got some truly surprising and heartwarming news from the WWE Universe. Before lawsuits, before resignations, and before the scandal that rocked WWE to its core, there was one voice that dared to speak the truth. Her name was Chyna, the ninth wonder of the world. And long before Vince McMahon's empire began to crumble, she saw it all. She lived it. She warned us.